Hello, everybody. I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show. That was Behind the Shadows. Obviously, it was a sound film that the American Lung Association decided to create a silent version with captions and distribute on 16. Mostly because probably when this came out, distributing to the 16 market, there weren't as many sound options out there, so they wanted to try to get it to as many people as possible. And 16 was an easy way to show films, and there were portable projectors and all that. So that's probably why it was captioned, and why that guy at the end was like blah blah. It was like mouthing, and then there's this like giant paragraph of text. Normally, if you wrote for a silent market, knowing the film was silent, you wouldn't have these giant things of text where someone's just mouthing, and then so that's the tip off for that. So we watch old 16mm films here at AV Geeks, and I'm happy that you guys are here to watch with me. This next film is the use of aircraft for insect control. It's a fascinating film, and I feel bad for the person who's out in the field when they get dusted. So here it is. Use of aircraft for insect control.
Today, the airplane is used to control mosquitoes in many parts of the world. In the Tennessee River Valley, the Tennessee Valley Authority has used airplane larviciding in its malaria control program since 1935. The Muscle Shoals Airport near Wilson Dam, Alabama, is headquarters for TVA's airplane mosquito control operations. Here, all three methods of aircraft distribution of insecticides, dusting, spraying, and thermal aerosoling have been used. Prior to 1946 and the introduction of DDT as a mosquito larvicide, TVA used Paris green dust. Loaded into a hopper built into one cockpit of the plane, the dust was released through a discharge gate into a venturi, which increased the wind velocity generated by the plane in flight and effectively distributed the dust. Today, DDT and plant herbicides such as 2,4-D are dispersed as sprays in selected operational and research phases of the program. Essentially, this airplane spray equipment consists of a tank, a pump, and discharge nozzles. Several spray nozzles are often used to form a spray boom. Copper lines carry the solution from the tank to the pump and deliver the liquid under pressure to the spray nozzles. The nozzles release the solution as a spray, which is broken up and distributed by the air currents of the plane. Another method of treatment, thermal aerosoling, has been used in routine TVA larviciding operations since 1946. Assembly of the unit is not difficult. The exhaust stack of the plane is extended and rigidly secured to prevent vibration. A venturi is fitted on the end of the stack and bolted in place. A nozzle inserted in the top of the venturi throat breaks the liquid into a spray as it enters the exhaust stream. A second spray nozzle is seated in the bottom of the venturi throat. Copper tubing carries the solution to the spray nozzles. In this venturi, hot exhaust gases moving at high velocity break up the insecticidal spray into small particles of aerosol dimensions. Basically, the aerosoling equipment consists of an exhaust stack extension ending in a venturi, a tank to hold the insecticidal solution, and a pump to force the solution through copper lines to spray nozzles in the throat of the venturi. The two flat spray nozzles discharge the insecticide into the venturi throat as a fine spray, where the pressure and heat of exhaust gases break the spray droplets into smaller particles and create a smoke by vaporizing part of the solvent. The plane must not be airborne until structural alterations are inspected and approved by the Civil Aeronautics Administration. Developed during the war, thermal aerosoling units were first used to help control malaria in war areas. Airplanes still operating in distant parts of the world were equipped with thermal aerosol generators at this airport. Many types of planes are used for mosquito control work. For safety and efficiency, the planes must be very maneuverable with sufficient power to pull up sharply, easy to handle, have good visibility and downdraft, and not be too large to get into the breathing area. All CAA requirements met, the inspector issues a certificate of airworthiness. The plane is now ready to fly, but the aerosoling unit is checked and calibrated before insecticidal operations are undertaken. A graduated cylinder is placed under the venturi opening. The pump started, the control valve opened, and insecticidal solution flows into the cylinder. As it reaches the lower of 2 marks, a stopwatch is started. And stopped as the upper mark is reached. From such measurements, pressure and valve openings required to release the desired amount of solution are determined. The size of the DDT particles and the width of the swath released by the plane are important also in developing operational procedures. Uniformly spaced checkpoints are set up and a clean glass slide is placed at each location. A balloon marks the altitude the plane is to fly. The test is made with the plane flying across the center of the line of checkpoints at a predetermined speed. The air current set up by the propeller and the downdraft from the plane force the aerosol downward in a whirling motion. A slide waved in the dense cloud released by the plane collects droplets of insecticide and provides a check on the size of insecticidal particles discharged. The slides are collected in a slide box marked to indicate their position in relation to the swath. Examination of the slides gives an accurate measurement of the effective width of the swath. Normally, these preparations for aerosoling are completed before the mosquito breeding season begins, so that the pilot is ready to start operations as soon as field surveys reveal excessive mosquito production. Instructed to treat several large, scattered breeding areas, the pilots first make ground inspection trips to familiarize themselves with the general terrain and any obstacles to low flying. All flying hazards are carefully studied. A tower above the treetops. Power lines, a constant threat to low flying. All these are marked on his map. Topographical conditions are studied so that the pilot can orient himself readily in getting from area to area. The terrain will determine the direction in which he will make his swath, since a level or low area must be utilized for safe pull-ups and turns. An inspection trip by air and a few dry runs in each area complete preparations for larviciding. The plane ready, the pilot briefed, the actual operation starts as soon as weather conditions permit. Aerosoling is undertaken in the early morning or evening hours when wind and thermal conditions are usually most favorable. Landing strips and adequate facilities for loading insecticides are provided at strategic locations for economy and efficiency of operation. Loading by this method is efficient. Loading completed in the plane is ready to treat another area. Large, heavily vegetated areas are completely covered by overlapping swaths of insecticide. These provide the pilot with visible markers and enable him to judge lines of flight for good coverage with a minimum of overdosage. Important because excessive amounts of DDT may injure fish and other wildlife. One large area completed, the plane moves on. This ditch could be treated with ground equipment, but with the airplane already working in the area, the job is completed at greatly reduced cost. Many scattered areas are treated in a single day's operations. The application of DDT by airplane has reduced TVA's unit cost for larviciding operations by more than 50%, with a material increase in effectiveness. Effectiveness routinely measured by larva counts in treated areas, and by the collection of adult mosquitoes found resting in nearby barns and similar outbuildings. Used for large-scale mosquito control operations in this country by the Army, the Navy, the Public Health Service, the TVA, and others, aircraft dispersal of insecticides is proving equally successful in many other countries. Intelligently used by personnel trained in this work, the airplane has demonstrated its usefulness for mosquito control in many parts of the world.
Oh, DDT. The wonder insecticide, except that it wasn't. So fascinating to see given the hindsight, looking back to say, like, well, you know, it certainly saved all these people's lives from malaria, but it also caused this problem with this ecosystem, and also, you know, there's some evidence that it's building up in people's bodies and could be causing cancer and things like that. So many issues. Beautiful black and white there. This one is beautiful color and talks about life on a dead tree. So let's watch that.
Tommy and his brother Dave have found an old dead tree in the woods near their home. This is Tommy, and this is Dave. A dead tree like this one may be the home of many different kinds of plants and animals. This little animal eats insects. It often lives on or under an old tree like this, where many insects may be easily found. Do you know what it is? It's a lizard. Lizards are harmless, but catching one isn't always easy. They move quickly. Tommy touches the scales that cover the lizard. Its skin feels dry and rough. It's a fence lizard, sometimes called a bluebelly. Dave puts it back on the tree. Wild animals should be returned to their homes. Tommy sees something moving under the crumbly, decayed wood in a crack in the old tree. He calls Dave over to look. What do you suppose it is? Dave knows. It's an insect. Do you know what kind of insect? It's a beetle. It hides in the decayed wood during the day. At night, it scurries about on its 6 legs to look for other insects to eat. Is there anything else that would live on an old dead tree like this? Tommy's found something that puzzles him. He calls his brother. Tommy examines what he's found. It's another insect. Most of you have seen this one before. If you haven't seen it, you've probably heard it chirping noisily on summer evenings. It's a cricket. Like the beetle, it hides in the dark places of the old tree during the daytime, coming out at night to hunt for food. Dave's found another animal hiding in the decayed wood. It's a slug, a relative of the garden snail. During the daytime, slugs may be found in dark, damp places, under rocks or old boards. At night, they come out to look for plants to eat. The 2 large stalks on the slug's head have eyes at their tips. The smaller stalks below are used for smelling. But animals are not the only things that live on an old dead tree. This hard, smooth plant is called a fungus. It grows in the old tree just as other plants grow in soil. This is another fungus plant growing on the dead tree. If you poke it, watch what happens. It's called a puffball. Fungus plants like these, and others too small to see, help break down the wood of the old tree. This is part of what we mean when we say that the old tree decays. The decayed material will someday become a part of the soil, where it will furnish food for other plants to grow. What else lives on an old dead tree? Tommy's found something he can name. Can you? This insect doesn't really live on the old tree. It's just visiting. It's a ladybird beetle. The ladybird beetle has a hard shell covering its back. The shell is made of two wing covers that fold out of the ladybird's way when it wishes to fly. There are still other animals that make their homes on an old tree like this. To find them may take a lot of looking, however. Underneath the piece of bark, Dave shows Tommy an unusual animal. It's a tree salamander. It looks like a lizard, and like a lizard, it eats insects. A salamander is easy to recognize because its skin is smooth and without scales. Salamanders always have 4 toes on their front feet and 5 toes on their hind feet. What else may be found living underneath the bark of an old tree? Of course, you know what these are. These ants live in dead trees, building and hollowing out tunnels in the wood. When their home is disturbed, they scurry around very quickly. Look at them closely. Notice that their bodies are divided into 3 parts. Like all insects, they have 6 legs growing out of the middle body part. On the ground, in the dead leaves and grass along the side of the tree, Tommy and Dave see something moving. It's a gopher snake, a harmless snake that helps man by eating rats, mice, and other small animals. The snake has laid some eggs. They're about the size of a hen's egg with soft, leathery shells. Inside the egg, on the left, a baby snake is struggling to free itself. The baby inside the other egg has cut a slit and will slip out through it. Now Tommy and Dave have discovered something in the hollow end of the old tree. It's an animal that has made its home there. It has a bushy tail and a white stripe down its back. Do you know its name? Tommy and Dave know. They know, too, that an old dead tree like this may actually teem with life. If you can find the dead tree, examine it closely. It may be the home of many different kinds of plants and animals.
teeming with life. Teeming. Beautiful footage. Really, really sweet. Big fan. So I put in the comments, tonight I'm going to be showing Attack of the Giant Leeches with the NC Science Museum, and we're going to have an expert in leeches who will be answering questions about leeches after the movie. And this is one of those wonderful Roger Corman films, which I call low budget, high entertainment. This movie's only 62 minutes long. And, you know, obviously it was a B picture meant to be double featured with something. So it's entertaining. At least the leech costume is pretty cool. So I just, like I said, I put a link in there, and I'll put another link tonight or at the end of the show. And it's 6 p.m. and it's not through our normal channels. It's actually through, you have to register and get it. You'll get a Zoom link, and then, you know, you'll watch it via Zoom. That's just the way the museum does it. So there you go. This next film is kind of interesting. I love films that are trying to coerce young adults into a certain career. And I have quite a few. I mean, this is even beyond the ones, is a career and whatever for you, that are kind of generic. You know, they have, each film that they make is for a different field. This one is actually, you know, made by the industry trying to coerce young people into the field. And this is called Design for Life. And it's trying to get young people to be, well, specifically young men, to be pharmacists. So, Design for Life. Enjoy.
Well, that's the last of them, Mr. Dodd. Good night. Dad usually picks me up after work on Saturdays. I can just about set my watch by him. Right on the nose. I suppose Dad had counted on my going into the contracting business ever since he got his own outfit. To him, there's nothing as beautiful as a new construction job. I guess it's natural he'd want me to feel the same way. It was hard to tell him I had other ideas.
Maybe Dale wants time to think about it.
Time? Well, graduation's only, what, 6 weeks away? Then it's only 3 months to college. I don't know of a better way for him to spend the summer. You'll be coming into the firm one of these days. You might as well be getting the feel of it.
You'd better get set for a shock, Dad.
Oh?
I think I want to study pharmacy this fall.
Pharmacy? What's the matter with the construction business?
I haven't definitely made up my mind on anything, Dad. I mean, I may want to give pharmacy a try, so I figured on working for Mr. Robinson this summer, full time.
The drugstore. Well, I hope you change your mind. What do you know about pharmacy anyway?
Well, I haven't worked at the store very long.
I know that. What I mean is, how much training does it take? What's the future in it? How much money?
I guess you've got me there, Dad.
Look, son, I want you to make up your own mind. But I thought you were going to college so you could be an asset in our business.
Dale's talked to me about this, and he has some good ideas. Don't jump on him, Joe.
I'm not jumping on him, Martha. Son, it's just that I want you to be sure this is what you want to do. And it seems to me the first thing is you've got to get some facts.
Well, it took Dad to show me how much I didn't know. Before we got through, he had a list of questions a mile long. I started by finding out all I could at school. I cornered my chemistry teacher after lab on Monday. He's the one who put the idea of pharmacy in my head in the first place. He suggested I see our vocational counselor and get the most recent dope on pharmacy, like college requirements and the chances of getting work. I'd had the aptitude tests and all that, but I hadn't taken them too seriously.
There's another thing in your favor, Dale. You've done a highly respectable job in mathematics, and there's certainly nothing wrong with your record in the sciences.
So you think I ought to go into pharmacy?
Frankly, I can't decide that for you. There are at least half a dozen major fields you can qualify for.
Boy, I don't see how you can make up your mind.
Well, there are other things beside aptitude and grades. What interests you is important. Why do you like it at Robinson's?
Well, I guess it's partly meeting people, and, well, a lot of people come in and they don't know what they want. You have to help them decide.
Maybe what you like is selling a service.
Yeah, maybe. You get to know a lot of people that way.
A few weeks ago, you told me your father expected you to take up the construction business after college. What happened to that idea?
Well, Dad says he wants me to make up my own mind.
Well, here's my suggestion. You go over the analysis of these tests with your folks. You have all the main points there. I've a hunch you'll be happiest in that type of work that gives you a sense of service, a personal service to many individuals, and service to your community. Think it over.
Okay, Miss Stewart. Thanks a lot.
Boys his age are unpredictable, Joe. Maybe he'll come around. Yeah, maybe. That's what worries me, Doc. I'm not so sure. The boy has a stubborn streak. Well, after all, he could do a lot worse than a career in pharmacy. But how far away from contracting can you get? Last fall, it was industrial engineering, then business management. Now, those I could understand.
Your boy going to be a pharmacist, Joe?
Well, looks like it could happen.
Good profession. I considered it myself once.
You did?
That and medicine.
Is that a fact, Bill?
True.
Boy's been working at Robinson's part-time. I should have been breaking him into my own business.
Is that the Robinson Pharmacy?
Yeah. You know Robinson?
Very well. Jeff's a member of my church board and quite active. Your son couldn't have run across a better example of the profession.
You met him, Joe? Oh, I suppose once or twice. Not to get really well acquainted with him.
He's all right. Jeff spends part of his time at the hospital pharmacy, and I see a lot of him. An exceptionally capable fellow. I call him almost every day whenever I need information about new drugs.
Then you think pharmacy's not too bad. Is that right, Doc?
Well, I'm a doctor. The way I look at it, the pharmacist, the doctor, and the nurse are all on the same team. Why, today, Joe, a doctor can do without a pharmacist and a nurse like he can do without his two hands.
More coffee, Bill?
Thanks. Just half.
Doc, how much does a pharmacist make?
Well, he does all right. Owns his own business, has his own house. What do you want your boy to be, a millionaire?
No, I just wondered.
Good morning, Mrs. McEwen.
Good morning, Dale.
May I help you?
Yes, thank you. I want to pick up my sister's prescription.
All right. I'll speak to Mr. Dodd. Excuse me.
Sister.
I dug up all the facts I could. Mr. Dodd works for Mr. Robinson as the store's full-time pharmacist, and he set me straight on a lot of things. He hopes to buy the store when Jeff Robinson's ready to retire. Meanwhile, he's making a good living. Mrs. McEwen's sister has been sick a long time. Mr. Dodd says she's learned she can count on a service at Robinson. That's why she comes back. He says you sell a little piece of yourself in every transaction.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Randall, isn't it?
That's right, Beacon Drug Company. Mr. Robinson in?
I know. He's over at the hospital.
Oh?
He's on the staff over there now, part-time. has charge of the hospital pharmacy.
Oh, I want to talk to him about a new drug we're releasing next month, and I want to leave you some literature on it.
Fine.
Perhaps I can find Mr. Robinson over at the hospital.
I'm sure you can. Say, got a minute or two you can spare?
Of course.
Oh, Dale. Mr. Randall, this is Dale Saunders. Dale's interested in pharmacy as a possible career.
Nice to meet you, Dale.
Well, Mr. Randall.
Dale, Mr. Randall is a sales representative for the Beacon Drug Company. Maybe he'll tell you about it. Oh, excuse me.
Are you in school, Dale?
I'm graduating in a few weeks.
Then off to college, I suppose.
I hope so.
Well, my job's like every other job. If you can do it and you like it, then there's none better.
Are you a pharmacist?
Yes, I am. Most sales representatives for drug manufacturers are pharmacists. Do you like selling?
Well, I think I'd like this kind of selling in a retail pharmacy.
Well, the most interesting part of my kind of selling is introducing pharmacists and physicians to new products. We have a wonderful opportunity for keeping track of the latest developments in medical treatment.
I see.
And we get good pay. That's a consideration these days.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Whenever I enter a doctor's office, it's for the purpose of acquainting him with such new combinations as this, for example, or treating a patient with high blood pressure. And then I always carry this with me to remind myself that a doctor's time as well as my own is valuable. My real commodity is health. My mission is to help the doctor extend the life of his patients. I'll tell you something, Dale. I can sell drug products because I believe in them. Now, that may sound corny, but if I do my job well, I may be adding several years to somebody's life, and that's a good feeling.
Martha, what am I supposed to do about Dale?
You've done very well, Joe.
Now, it's over a month since this thing started. He's more determined than ever to take up pharmacy.
Has he talked to you again?
Talk? Oh, yes. Martha, this thing just gets to me. There's no use in my denying it. Well, maybe I counted on it too much. Joe Saunders and Son. I should have talked to him a long time ago. Now here he is, ready for college. And where am I?
Are you worrying about Dale or about yourself? Oh, it would be nice to have him take over your business someday. But at the expense of his happiness? You wouldn't want that any more than I do.
Martha, if I could just be sure.
Dale is the one who has to be sure. And I think he's going to make a very good pharmacist. Oh, come on now, cheer up before the Gilkinsons get here. This is a dinner party, not a wait.
Air conditioned?
Oh, sure, completely.
All you buildings should be. I can't figure these people who think that a window ought to open just because it always has. Dale here won't have to worry. By the time he takes over the business, people will be educated to air conditioning. When's school over, Dale?
Couple of weeks, Mr. Gilkinson.
I expect you'll be going right in with your father then, won't you?
Dale's going to college in the fall.
Oh, good. We have 2 fine engineering colleges in this state.
Excuse me.
Certainly. What branch of engineering, Dale?
Dale has the idea he wants to study pharmacy.
Well, it's pretty well settled, Mr. Gilkinson.
Pharmacy? What's wrong with that, Joe?
Did I say there was anything wrong with it?
No, but you certainly don't look very happy about it.
Dale, it's for you, Mr. Dodd.
Excuse me.
What? Dodd.
Yes, he's the pharmacist down at Robinson's. Dale works there.
What in the world is he calling here for at this hour?
An accident or something, he said. He said there was an emergency.
Okay, Mr. Dodd, right away. Dad, Mother, they need me down at the pharmacy right away. There's a wreck on the railroad south of town.
A wreck?
It's pretty serious, passenger train. They're starting to bring people into the hospital, and they think they might run short on some things.
Well, what can you do, dear?
Well, they want me to run the stuff over from the store down to the hospital. Mr. Robinson called Mr. Dodd from there and asked him to phone me. Dad, can I have the pickup?
Dale, we have guests here.
Run along, Dale. And be careful.
Okay, Mom.
Martha. Young man. The least you could do is say goodbye to our guests.
Goodbye.
Sit down, Joe.
It must be serious, Joe, if they're expecting to run short of supplies at the hospital. We haven't had a wreck on that road since I can remember. Now, Joe, don't worry about the boy. I don't blame him for being excited.
Excuse me.
Never mind. I'll get it. Hello?
Joe Saunders?
Yeah, speaking.
It's Vincent, Sheriff's Office.
Sheriff?
Yes. This is an emergency, Saunders. There's been a bad wreck on the main line. They're going to need all the heavy equipment they can find to move cars. Acetylene torches, too. We're rounding up as much as we can from the local outfits. What can you do for us?
Why,
What'd you say?
we'll be there as soon as I can get the equipment rolling. Where do we go?
3 miles south of State Highway 36 on the River Road. Come ahead of your equipment if you can.
Right.
And on your way through town, you can pick up a motorcycle officer at 3rd and Market. He'll give you the siren.
We're gonna need your advice.
Right.
Oh, good. Pack those bandages, will you, Dale?
Yeah. Is it as bad as they thought?
Afraid so. Bandages, dextrose, iron tincture. Car in front, Dale?
Yeah, the pickup.
Here, get all this over to the hospital. I'll close up and join you.
Okay. Our community hospital is a small one, of only 50 beds. It's the nearest hospital to the wreck, but it wasn't built for this kind of emergency. Inside, temporary arrangements were being made wherever there was room. By the time I got there, things were well organized. They were moving some of the patients to make room for the worst emergency cases. Jeff Robinson's the kind who won't take chances. He keeps the hospital pharmacy well stocked to meet most demands on it. There was plenty at first for both the hospital and for emergency treatment at the wreck. Meanwhile, extra plasma and morphine and all that was brought in, and at last there was enough. It was a long night for a lot of people.
Hey, Saunders.
Yeah.
Mac?
Okay, it's all yours. Take it away.
Well, there goes the last one.
You better call it a night. Let the new crew take over. We can slow down a little till it gets light.
Yeah.
Hey, Mac, you and Joe call it quits. Railroad crew's got it licked.
Good night, Mac.
Bye.
Better get some shut-eye yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Grenville.
Thank you, Doctor.
Hello, Joe. Hello, Doc.
You must have had quite a night.
You don't look so good yourself. Been helping out at the wreck?
Well, little.
Dale's down there to your right. Can't stop now, but Joe, that boy's a dandy. If you want my advice, you let him team up with us. The construction people don't need him as badly as we do. You can be proud of him. Well, gotta go.
Isn't it about time to knock off?
Well, hi, Dad. Mr. Robinson, you know my dad.
Hello, Robinson.
It's a pleasure to see you, Mr. Saunders. I hope you weren't worried about Dale.
No, not worried.
Dad, you've been down at the wreck?
There was a job that had to be done, Dale. Seems they needed some of our equipment, too, to clear the wreckage. I had an idea you'd still be here.
Go ahead with your father, Dale.
Okay. I'll be with you in a minute, Dad.
Mr. Saunders, Dale has talked to me quite a bit about you.
I think a father deserves to hear things like this.
Like what?
I
have never known a boy to be as proud of his dad as Dale is of you.
Oh? I expect it's been hard for you to take, this desire of his to go into pharmacy.
But it hasn't been easy on Dale either. You know, he's worried because he's afraid he's letting you down.
Well, how's he doing?
He's got what counts, Mr. Saunders.
On top of his natural gifts and personality, he has a concern for other people. That's a real asset. In pharmacy, it's priceless.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Dad?
Okay, son. Okay.
Good night, Mr. Robinson.
Good night.
Oh, everybody's proud of each other. So great. Be a pharmacist. Not in the construction field. Although I would say nowadays, man, the construction field is where you want to be. Yeah, pharmacists are basically, unfortunately, pill counters now. There's only a select few that actually mix and blend things. Which is what they originally used to do, is they would make the compounds. They would do compounding for the various drugs. There weren't drug manufacturers that were actually cranking out pills, that many. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. All right, I think we're going to end the day with some TV commercials about sugar. Some of these I've shown before, but you know what? It's Friday, so let's sit back and watch some commercials featuring sugar products. Enjoy.
Won't get a move on. If you wish to round up the flavors of fruit, come, little friend, just follow the snoot. Follow my nose. It always knows. Fruit flavors! Whoa! Kellogg's Fruit Loops cereal, orange, lemon, cherry, and other natural flavors fortified to be part of this nutritious breakfast. Hot diggity, thanks for rounding them up, partner. With Fruit Loops, I don't toss around.
Applejack cereal from Kellogg's can be part of a nutritious breakfast.
What's going on? I'm building up to breakfast with my ghostly good cereal, Blueberry.
You dumbbell! Count Chocula makes a big hit with kids.
I love Count Chocula's chocolatey flavor and real marshmallows.
Well, I like Blueberry's blueberry flavor and real marshmallows.
Count Chocula!
Blueberry!
You can enjoy a good, nutritious breakfast with
Blueberry!
Count Chocula.
This is gonna take a while. Look who's up.
Dig 'em. Go for it.
Let's have some sugar smacks.
Snack, sugar snacks.
I dig 'em.
Give me a snack, and I'll snack you back.
The ball, it's still rolling.
Fun to eat those puffs of wheat. Kellogg's Sugar Smacks.
I don't believe it.
Bowling is right up my alley.
Kellogg's Sugar Smacks.
Part of this nutritious breakfast. Dig 'em.
Tony, your own museum?
Uh-huh. Full of all the scoundrels who've ever tried to steal the secret formula for Kellogg's Sugar Frosted Flakes.
There sure are a lot of them.
They all knew it was the secret formula that makes Frosted Flakes such a delicious part of this nutritious breakfast.
The secret taste of Frosted Flakes makes Tony say,
They're great. Now that's what I call stiff competition.
Watch me fool Fred out of his pebbles. Tell your future Fred Flintstone.
Okay, Swami.
I see someone after your most prized possession.
Who, Swami, who?
Oh, it's not clear. I need food for thought.
Try some Fruity Pebbles.
Very delicious.
Let me take a look. Bedrock Bowling League? Barney, my pebbles!
Didn't mean to bowl you over, Fred.
Toast Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. Yabba dabba delicious.
Kids play a lot more than anyone. Kids get hot more than anyone. Kool-Aid is for a kid's big thirst. Hey, Kool-Aid!
Yeah! Kids are having fun more than anyone. Kids are on the run more than anyone. Kool-Aid is for a kid's big thirst.
Big fruity taste.
Kool-Aid brand soft drink mix.
Kool-Aid is for a kid's big thirst.
Watch me scare Fred out of his pebbles.
Yow, Martians!
Delicious.
Barney!
Whoops. Got a blast on.
Post Pebbles cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. Now from Pebbles, you can get a Fred Flintstone flying disc. Or Barney. Or Dino. For fun with a twist, it's a Flintstone flying disc. One in each specially marked box of Post Fruity or Cocoa Pebbles cereal.
I can't go out there. I've lost the touch.
Oh, come on, Benny. Your fans are waiting.
From Benny the Great to Benny the...
You always said the show must go on.
I did say that. Pass the Rice Krispies.
It's fun to push snap, crackle, pop into your morning.
The roar of the crowd, the crunch of the Krispies.
5 minutes, Benny. Kellogg's Rice Krispies, a delicious part of this nutritious breakfast.
Showbiz!
Hi there.
Hi there.
Very good.
Very good. I'm Morgan the Mockingbird. I want to sing with flavor like Kellogg's plump, juicy raisins.
Raisins?
2 scoops of raisins are the reason. Kellogg's Raisin Bran so pleasing.
I ripen 2 scoops of raisins for every box as part of this nutritious breakfast.
2 scoops of raisins in Kellogg's Raisin Bran.
2 scoops.
2 scoops. 2 scoops.
We said that.
We said that. 2 scoops. 2 scoops.
Kids are full of surprises.
Kids are kids. Kids are kids, it's true.
Mom's gonna think this stuff's just junk.
Kids will do things only kids will do.
What a load of junk.
And moms are moms. They know what's good for kids.
That's thirsty work.
Always doing what they should for kids.
Think your mom can make us some Kool-Aid?
Moms are moms. They know what's fun for kids.
I'll ask.
Moms know Kool-Aid is the one for kids.
I did it!
That's kids for you. And as special as kids are, there's one drink made specially for them. Kool-Aid's the one for kids. This canister gives kids that great Kool-Aid cherry flavor and vitamin C. Besides, soda's about twice the price.
Thanks, Mom. We needed that.
Moms know Kool-Aid is the one for kids.
Kool-Aid brand soft drink mix.
I've brought you something to remember me by.
Oh, Rick.
Crunch and Munch.
Crunch and Munch? Nuts.
Yep, and popcorn, too. Taste that buttery coating. That's not caramel, not a sugary glaze.
It's rich, sweet, buttery. Buttery? That's toffee.
Yep, popcorn and peanuts in toffee with real butter. I'll never forget you, Betty.
I'll never forget Crunch and Munch, Rick.
Crunch and Munch, popcorn and peanuts with real buttery toffee.
It's Kenner's Betty Crocker Easy Bake Mini Wave Oven. Preheat 15 minutes, light bulb not included.
You can mix up a yellow and a chocolate cake. You can have lots of fun with an easy bake. In just 10 minutes, it's done just right. To frost, share, taste, bite.
The Betty Crocker Easy Bake Mini Wave Oven with Betty Crocker mixes from Kenner.
Lego. they say Lego my Eggo before the Eggo pops up. They're talking about new apple cinnamon Eggo. You can smell those real apple cinnamon bits, and they taste even better than they smell. If people ever finish smelling them, they'll find that out. You know, my sisters may never find that out.
Part of this nutritious breakfast, new apple cinnamon Eggo waffles.
From Kellogg's.
Kids are kids. Kids are kids, that's true. I put those all together because I did a show called Sugar, the Other White Powder. And so it was all films about sugar, how sugar is made, how sugar is not good for you, and then all these wonderful commercials with sugar. I forgot that I had a Monster cereal in there. I was a big Blueberry fan back in the day. And you probably noticed, like, the color was bouncing around like crazy. And I was trying to actively, like, color correct on the fly to bring it more neutral or whatever. And I'd make one neutral and the next one would be totally different. And so that's a problem with, you know, when you're doing compilation reels or commercials or PSAs, is that they fade, but they fade differently. Every single one fades differently depending on the stock and all that stuff. Kept me guessing. Kept me on the little color correction wheel. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. If you like what you saw and you'd like to reward us, you can buy us coffee. Because coffee, I drink my coffee black. I don't have it with sugar. So, yes, coffee, avgeeks, or our avgeeks, that's true. You can also buy DVDs at avgeeks.com. And you can tell the world that you like us by hitting like, subscribe, by ringing some sort of notification bell that lets you know when things are coming up, commenting and sharing. I am also going to paste one more time the Attack of the Giant Leeches. We're going to be showing that tonight at the Science Museum, and that's going to be not via our normal way that I broadcast. It's actually going to be via a Zoom link, so you have to register to get that Zoom link. Yeah. Everybody have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday, if I don't see you later tonight. As always, you know, we look inside the film can to give us advice. Sometimes it's the film itself, sometimes it's what's written in the can, like please rewind and love each other. And a little smiley face with eyelashes, written by a bored student. Everybody take care, and we will see you soon.